Okay, to start working on making your value ornaments, go ahead and get some circles. I'd like you to start out making 5 circles. They can be a variety of sizes. So some might be large, some might be medium, some might be small. It's kind of fun having a variety of sizes of ornaments for this assignment. So take your tracers, trace around them, and then once you've got about 5 of them, go ahead and start using some value into your assignment. Thinking about value, we're thinking about different lights and darknesses of one color. So as I start taking out my first color today, I'm going to think about coloring it all in except for one little spot. I want to leave one spot that has a little bit of white left onto my paper, and then that white can be used as the part that the light is hitting onto the ornament. It helps make that ornament look shiny. It also is a great way to show value. Areas of my project that are going to be bright. The light is hitting that part of my object. So now I'll go ahead and take a white oil pastel and start adding it into my paper. The white oil pastel is going to do a nice job blending and mixing so it doesn't just go from white to purple. I don't want there to be a hard line or a shape. I want it to make it look like it's blended or mixed. After I've done the white, I'll add on the black. The black will shade into my purple to make a darker value. It not only makes it look like it's on the shadowed part of the circle, but it starts to make it look like a 3-dimensional form. I'm going to take my towel and smear some of the black into the purple, making it look like a round bulb. Now I'm going to get up close so you can see it a little bit better. Watch me do that again with another color. I'm going to go ahead and start adding on some of the red onto my paper. I'm just coloring in the circle except for that one spot where the light is hitting it. Once the red has been colored in, I'm going to take my white. When I have my white, I'm going to try to make it blend or appear like it's not starting and stopping and there's one hard line. I want to smear it and make it look like it's a round form. So I'm taking my towel and mixing that together. Great. Again, go ahead and add in some black to your project and smear that as well. As I've added black, it looks like I've added a lot of black here. And so I'm just going to take my towel and smear it into the red and try to make it mix. You don't need a ton, a little bit. Like I'm looking at that and I'm like, oh, probably used a little too much. Going in and adding some more white. I'm trying to make this, again, look like a 3-dimensional form. Let me move that aside so we can see it a little bit better. One last time. Put on your color, saving a little bit of space where the light hits the object. Coloring that in. This is where my light is hitting that shiny ornament. My white is a mixing tool. It makes it so that the color blends into the ornament. So my white and my pink are mixing. I'll add just a little bit of black, not too much. I look at the red and I think that's too much. Just a little bit of black and smear that so that the color gets mixed together and I've got a nice round form. The towel does a nice job blending it together. So I'm going to take that towel and try taking some of that black off, making it look like a round form rather than it being so dark. Yep, I like that better. Taking some of the black off of the ornament, still looks like a shadow, still looks like I've added some value, and I'm going to add a little bit more red to make it again look like a form, a 3-dimensional object. Okay, great. Now I've got 5 of them all done, all in the same way. I'm going to go ahead and get my brown piece of construction paper. On my brown piece of paper, I'm going to go ahead and start making it look like a tree branch or a spray, I guess is what you could call it. When you look at a evergreen tree, I'm thinking about just a small handful of that evergreen tree. I'm taking out my light green and my dark green, and I'm going to start applying the lines almost like an arrow. These lines are diagonal onto that spray of greenery. The lines are being put on or placed on the light green first, and again, I'm thinking in my head as if it was an angled line. It looks like an arrow. It's starting from the stem and expanding outward. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do that again. This is a non-example. It should not look like railroad tracks. Those are all vertical lines. Don't do that. You're going to go diagonally. Some slant downward, and then as I go around, they're going to slant the opposite way. See the difference? It should not look like railroad tracks. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and continue adding on my light green now. I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to do that so you can see what it looks like as it's finished. There we go. Now that I've got my light green placed on, I'm going in and adding my dark green. The dark green makes my evergreen tree look more full. It looks like it's not such a stick tree anymore. It starts to look more realistic. So by adding different hues or shades of my green, it's going to look amazing. It's going to start to look more realistic. So I'm going to go ahead and do this to two of them. Pause the video so we get to see what it looks like. Compare the light green when it's added to the dark green. Nice. Yep, I need to do that now for the rest of my branches. Wow! Now I've got it all done. I went ahead and added light green and dark green to all of my branches. I'm not done yet. Just like I've added value onto my ornaments, I want to add value onto my tree. As I take the light or the white into this project, I'm making it look like the light is hitting part of the greenery. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting on my white values onto the parts that I think the light is hitting it. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that now. Once I'm done putting in the light values, you've got it, you can guess it, I'm going to start taking the black oil pastel and making some of it look shaded. You do not need to add a bunch of this black. It's already pretty strong. So I'm just going to put in a few straight little lines like this. Again, helping my project look more three-dimensional, not so flat. Cool. Now, once I've got my ornaments done and I've got the light and dark values onto my greenery, I'm going to go ahead and start cutting out my ornaments. I like to break my ornaments up into sections so that it's a little easier to cut each circular form out by itself. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and cut these ornaments. Again, oops, I should say this. My scissors do the cutting while my other hand does the turning. I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to cut my ornaments now on my own. There! Now that I've got all 5 ornaments cut out, I'm going to start gluing them down onto my project. As I glue them down onto my project, I'm thinking in my head, it might be a good idea to have all of the white spots of my ornaments going in the same direction. Why would I do that? Because the light is coming from one source. The light is coming from one direction, so when I glue these ornaments down, all of the white spots of my ornament should be facing the same direction. That just makes sense. Think about the sun. If it was hitting these balls or these ornaments, what would it look like? You would have it coming from one section. Now I'm going to take these little toppers, cut them in half, and go ahead and glue those down onto the tops of my ornaments. I hope you have fun gluing these objects down together. Last step that I'm also going to do, you'll see here in just a moment, is I'm going to take some white oil pastel and I'm going to add some snowflakes onto my brown paper. I think that that really helps the project look neat. I hope you have fun doing this project. Thanks!